Last episode, we built a brand new train station and fully automated sturdy sheets, as well as building a huge railway across our world to take us to the next big project, the Industrial District. We'll be getting started on that project by creating a massive gold farm and a steam engine network to power it all. And when I say a massive gold farm, I mean the kind that's going to make my game run at 4 frames per second. These industrial farms I want to build, I ain't messing around with them. They're going to be big. The ideal setup is that we turn it on, I need to run it for an hour, and then I never need to run it again. Pointless, really, but it'd be funny, wouldn't it? In all seriousness, though, we do actually have quite a bit of work before I can get started on the farms, so the railway is mostly complete. I have been chipping away at this off-camera between episodes, but the actual industrial area, the thing that's going to be going, like, right here, there's a bit of a forest in the way. And it's not exactly a small forest we need to get rid of, full of mushrooms, tall trees, and God knows what else, so we're going to have to find a way of doing this quickly, otherwise I'm going to be here for about another 3 weeks. This seems like a bad idea, but I don't know how I'm not dying. Oh, and it's also full of mobs, that makes this even better. And after re-recording this segment of the video and regenerating these chunks because I tried to use a flint and steel to get rid of this, I feel very good about this. This was some good catharsis, actually. I feel like I needed this. Every now and then, sometimes, you just gotta burn down a forest, you know? It just feels good. All jokes aside, I can't help but feel like I've made a horrible mistake. There's gonna be so many floating logs to get rid of. I also low-key forgot that the mushrooms wouldn't burn, so yeah, we gotta clear these out too. But, you know, I'm always down to get some shrooms, so I won't say no to that. Although maybe I should go put Silk Touch on my axe, actually, because these mushroom blocks are pretty useful for building, especially the brown ones. Yeah, I might go do that, actually. I very quickly realized the cleanup needed after burning all of this down to get rid of it actually would just take the same amount of time as cutting it down manually. So I'm thinking I can't place rails on leaves. That's a really good start. I'm thinking minecart with many saw. Something like this should work. Couple of storage chests just thrown on so we don't have to run around and pick up the items. Bit of the old super glue. Turn that into a contraption, which we can then pick up, of course. Realize I'm an idiot and I didn't use a furnace minecart, so yep, whoops. And now hopefully all I should need to do is just run down and place a bunch of track down as I'm going, and then hopefully all I should need to do is set this off and it should start clearing out the forest as it goes. Yeah, nice. Ooh. And I guess the really good thing about this is the create saw is actually going to deal with most of the mushroom blocks as well. Anything that's left over, I guess I'm just going to have to come through and clean up, but that's significantly less work than doing it manually. And you know, I never really see people actually doing like minecart contraptions for felling forests like this, and this is so good. Why don't people do this? This is amazing. And thanks to the grappling whisk, getting up onto these bits of mushroom to clear them out is super simple. This is taking me maybe 10 minutes and I've cleared out this massive chunk of forest, so I've just got to do this maybe 3-4 more times and we'll have enough space for what we want to do today. I don't particularly have any desire to cut down this entire forest right now, but if we can do enough for what I want to do, then yeah, that sounds good to me. And you know what, between the cart contraption, the grappling whisk, and the building ones, this was actually relatively short work to prep this area. I ended up doing a lot of the cleanup over on a stream on my Twitch, which you should definitely go follow, by the way. And we got to thinking about how we were going to lay out the power station that this area is going to need, and came up with something that's going to be probably just a little bit over the top. We're talking 2.5 million stress units in this tiny area. It's kind of insane. And before we get on with it, I need to take you on a journey, a thought journey, as there was many things that led to this exact moment. It started off with me kind of planning out this steam engine area, and I was umming and ahhing about whether or not I wanted to superheat the blaze burners. More so the process behind it of creating biofuel. And this isn't too hard to make, but it superheats for a super long time. And I was umming and ahhing about it because we'd need to be making 72 buckets every 20 minutes of the biofuel to power all of this, which, yeah, that is not going to happen. That is a ridiculously big farm. And honestly, the frame rate impact, which I was most concerned about, would be significantly less if I just built an infinite lava source and did more just regular steam engines. And that's when chat had an idea. They reminded me that lava ain't the only source you can make an infinite source from. And over in a creative test, I tested it out with some biofuel and learned that you can't make an infinite fuel source out of this, which sucks. However, there be a create config. In the fluid settings here, bottomless fluid mode allow all, which means that if we did in fact fill a hole like this with 10,000 buckets of this, we would get an infinite source. Although making 10,000 of buckets of biofuel sounded like a horrible idea, which led me to my third part of the thought experiment, which was I remember seeing a while ago that you don't need to make the entire thing out of source blocks. You can just do the top layer, let it flow down, and it will still count. So for example, if I were to fill the top layer here with blocks, we do a layer of bioethanol over the top of this, biofuel even, sorry. It used to be called bioethanol, but no, it's not, it's a whole thing. And this is only 625 buckets worth, which is a significantly easier number than 10,000. But when we clear that glass underneath and we let this flow all the way down to the bottom, and then when we power the hose pulley, you will see it now has a bottomless supply. Although for some reason in my test here, it's not actually spouting any liquid, which is mildly alarming, but I did have this working earlier. Point being, it works. I have tested this, I have got it working, it will work. And then back in the survival world, the supremely good news is that our hole where we want to put the biofuel is even smaller, which means I need even less buckets to do this with. And I have actually worked out the math. I should definitely have more than enough space to make this 10k worth of blocks. The hole here is 11 by 11, which is 121 blocks per layer. And we are currently at Y73, so if we dug this all the way down to bedrock, I don't know, say minus 60, that's going to be about 130 blocks of depth, which will be about 13,000 blocks, so we'll be way over the limit needed for infinite sources. So I need to dig a big hole, I need to produce 121 buckets of biofuel, which shouldn't be that difficult, and then we should be pretty good to go with this. Oh, and I totally didn't show this off actually. This is how each module is going to work. It's got water wheels powering the pumps, the water's going to go here. I just need to lower this bit down by a block so the water actually fits in, but that's easy. Shouldn't be that much of a problem, right? So step one of dig a big hole involves a floor of drills as well as a rope pulley. Nice and easy. Oh no, there was a lush cave. Oh, the frame rate. Oh, everything's gone wrong and the chest is full already. It's just, oh man. Okay, well, nothing a bit of sponge can't fix anyway, so hopefully this isn't water sources all the way down, but we will find out, I suppose. And with water drained and hole dug, we just need to fill out the walls of it, which should be super easy as well. And then we just need to put in a layer of blocks below where we want the surface of the biofuel to be, like so. And that is step one done. Now we just need to make some biofuel, which honestly I'm not going to make a farm for. I'm just gonna work out how much of each thing I'm gonna need and just kind of make a temporary machine from there. So we're gonna need 121 buckets, you get 125 per, so we use 121 times 8, which is gonna be about 1,200 per thing, about 2,400 biomass, no. Thereby then should have trailed into nothing, so that's fine. Okay, never mind. I did the math. We might need some farms. Nothing too crazy, maybe just like a little wheat farm for the seeds. And then the real killer is the biomass. We need 1,936 of it. Each one takes 3 plant matter, and I think leaves is probably going to be the easiest thing to do, but 12,000 leaves is a lot of leaves. And maybe a small sugarcane farm too, because I don't want to go and manually find 968 sugarcane out in the world. That sounds like a bad time. Oh, my steam for this project is running out. Haha, Steve, get it? Funny joke. But okay. What's easy? Sugarcane farm. That's easy. We make a bearing, we make it spin, we put some harvesters on it. Good. But not good as in like good looking. These farms are gonna look terrible. They are the most temporary of temporary, but it will do. It is a sugarcane farm. Now, the next ingredient, cinder flour, we should... I've got most of it. I can just go mining for the rest of that. So the toughest part being the plant matter, and I've had a brainwave. And that brainwave comes in the form of the scary skeleton tower, because you see, I thought I hadn't looted this yet, and it was still going to be full of spawners, but no. I've already had the spawners out of this thing. And not only have I already taken the spawners from this, I already turned them into a farm. Not a very good farm, but a farm nonetheless. I think the way this works is, yes, we turn off the lamps, and that lets them spawn, and then that turns off the belts, right. That is an immediate problem in that they are getting clogged there. Should be an easy enough fix of just shortening those. And with a very minute edit to the storage situation, adding a terminal and a better waste disposal, now if we turn this on, we should be able to just stand here and AFK farm some skeletons. All of this being for the purpose of a moss farm, by the way, because a moss farm, I just need a bit of bone meal to kickstart it and then it powers itself. I don't know if I said that, but... yeah, you can use moss to make biofuel. So, plus I always need bone meal, so I'm glad I actually remembered that this exists, because yeah, this is actually quite helpful. I need to remember this is down here, or just make an actual like automated farm for it. But look at that, bones. Nice. And with a quick schematic and a bit of bone meal on the go, the moss farm is just about ready. Although I have just seen, is that cobblestone? Oh, that's not good, is it? Now, my best guess is gonna be pistons are pushing too quickly after the power goes through. Whatever I did has just broken the farm significantly. Uh-oh. Now, it is worth mentioning, this is not my design, so all fatal flaws and errors about the farm are not my fault, and Skijink are not responsible for the destruction of property. Wait a minute, I've just had the greatest idea. Oh my god, I'm so smart. So what I'm thinking, we put some smart observers with detectors for cobblestone on the end, and then we just hook these up on some redstone power with this one, the clutch, and then whenever a cobblestone reaches the end, it's just gonna get broken, and then it's not my problem anymore. Okay, it is set up, let's try it out. Okay, we turn it on, bam, that breaks. Will this now keep pushing? Do it be working? Oh, I'm really stupid. I've inversed it. It's stopping drilling when the cobblestone arrives. Okay, well, it's a really terrible solution to the problem that I've created, but I've just added in some drills and some observers so that when there inevitably is cobblestone coming through the farm, it just goes to the end and gets broken. So, business as usual. I'll just let this thing run and do its thing. We're up to about 1200 moss blocks, so I think I've just got to leave this running maybe for like another hour or two, and it should be most of the way there. I mean, this has only been on for like 10 minutes and it's made 1,000, so I think we're on the right track. And probably by the time that's done, the sugarcane will be done as well, because this has already made 2 stacks, so it's going pretty well all in all. And now the last thing on our list is going to be the seeds for the seed oil, and I just kind of want to test something, so I have a stack of bone meal, a single wheat seed, and if I just sit here and that's a left click. If I sit here and turn on right click macro, how many seeds do I get per stack of bone meal? 38. That's pretty good number actually. And as you saw, I've already got like 700 odd seeds in my terminal here. I only really need like another, I don't know, 500, so I might just go back to the skeleton farm and grind out a stack of bone meal or 2. And with the stuff I already have in my inventory, I may honestly just go grab a ton of bone meal and spam grow this for the rest of the seeds. I don't see the point in setting up a whole ass farm when I can just do it in like a few minutes. So back to slapping some skeletons I go. Okay, so all of the components are finally in place for this. The sugarcane is growing, the moss is farming, I have plenty of cinder flour and seeds, so I think it's about time we start putting together the production line for the biofuel. So obviously we're going to want to throw this stuff into a fluid tank, and I think that there should be enough space for everything we need. We're going to need a mechanical mixer to make the biofuel, and apparently sugar can be milled or crushed to get double the amount plus a bonus output. So we're going to have one of those going into here as well. So we'll route the sugarcane into this, and we'll just use some item drains to throw it in, and then we'll do the same on this side where we can just put a barrel maybe for the cinder flour, and then we just need another basin, and we'll just throw some pumps on, and then lastly another storage thing here for the seeds, and then we just got to put a press on this to make the seed oil. Okay, and then with a very quick and dirty machine, I believe this is everything good to go. We're smashing down the seeds into oil, mixing that with moss to make biofuel, and then we're just waiting on the sugar for this, which we can throw in over here. So then with just a funnel here, that gets the sugar in, and we are making biofuel. Oh yeah. And that is 1 bucket of 121 down. So I think I honestly just need to AFK this for a while. I've stocked up the blaze burner with like a stack of coal here, so this should last a good amount of time, but yeah, I'm gonna need to keep an eye on it. Well, this took far too long, but it is finally done. The last step here is we just need to put our pumps in here, and hopefully these should become infinite sources, and I'm gonna really hope this works because I do not have enough biofuel to redo this. Uh-oh. That's... oh, config change. Allow all. Yes, please. And now it should... no, stop taking my buckets. Okay. Back to the farm I go. It works! I actually made a backup this time, but I don't need it, because this one's working. Okay. Bottomless supply. It's not eating any more bioethanol. And man, that is a good noise hearing all those fire up. Holy moly, I have never made a level 18 steam engine before, and never mind 8 of them. Holy god, the power out of this is going to be insane. Okay, well, I know theoretically what the number is going to be for the total stress units, but I've got to put all these into one network and just see the number in-game. I have to do it. It's just how it's got to be. And here comes the moment of truth. Okay, 2.4 million. Yeah, that'll do. That will do. Oh, I couldn't even finish the sentence without cackling at this. It's so unnecessary, but it's so worth it. This is just, yeah, it's 2.4 million stress units. That's for sure. Although I tell you what, my game does not like this at all. These frame rates are they're getting spooky. I still have an entire gold farm and industrial district to build, and the steam engine alone is giving my game a bad time. Oh, this place is gonna be fun to work in. Realistically, I think what I actually do need to do is turn these on, like maybe a clutch system where I can... oh god, even my menu's lagging. Put them on a clutch system so I can actually toggle these like on or off as and when we need them, because oof, yeah, this is struggling. But then again, that's a problem for later Skeege. I just like this big number. That makes me real happy. So anyway, all of this work, all of this planning, now the gold farm can begin. And by begin, I mean I tear all of this garbage down and head back to my base and material craft for the next 6 to 8 years. Yay! Oh boy. And you know what? That was every single bit as painful as I thought it was going to be. Making toolboxes is just one of those things in the Create mod that is just utterly insufferable. With the amount of stuff you need to craft, it's... oof. I'm probably not even halfway to the amount of stuff I'd want in these, but this is going to have to do for now. I seriously spent like 4 hours doing this over a stream and like a couple of nights of just endless crafting. It's been a bad time. But in other preparations, I have somewhat worked out how I want this area to go. So obviously I have drawn the power from 2 of these steam engines now. We're looking at you know, still 600,000 stress units. And I've set up where I want the final vault to be for our gold farm, which is going to be about here. And despite the complete and utter proof on my channel that I have that the red sand farm is going to be the better method of getting more gold, I am going to be doing the soul sand method purely because it's less steps to get there. So obviously for red sand, it's quite a much longer process given that we have to crush twice to get sand, wash the clay, smelt it into terracotta, crush it again, and then wash it again into the gold. Whereas the soul sand method is simply crush twice, haunt, and wash into gold, which is much better given the fact that we are only going to be limited by the speed at which we can produce and crush up to the sand level. Because the washing and haunting stages of this, it doesn't really matter how much of a throughput we have, we can just keep dumping those items on the ground and just pick them up once they're processed. So in terms of raw speed, soul sand is going to be significantly better. And I also have plans for the quartz later down the line, so that will also be pretty helpful as well. So for the cobblestone generation part of this, I'm probably going to do the same that I did over at the andesite farm. So for the cobblestone generation part of this, I'm probably going to do what I did over at the andesite farm and make use of gantry carriages in order to collect the stone. That being a really simple little loop of using a content observer that is detecting stone so that when the stone forms, it moves forward, breaks it, and then moves back on a gear shift. So for each module of the farm, I'm thinking we're going to have rows of 16 of the cobblestone generators, and then we're going to flip this on the other side and then potentially have 2 more above. So we will have 64 cobblestone generating every single time it forms. And because this is going to be a contraption when it breaks the cobblestone, we don't need to run a belt or anything underneath it. All I need to do is maybe just chuck a barrel at this end, and then if we grab a funnel, we just stick that there, and then that can extract the items for us, all in one go. Each layer of the farm is probably going to end up looking something like this, so we'll waterlog these slabs so the water can flow either side, and then fill in these channels along the top with the lava. And then the second row will probably be stacked, probably about this height, so we've got room for a ceiling underneath, and that way that'll just prevent any water spillage or anything from coming down below. And then when it's all hooked up here, it does look pretty impressive. I love the way this thing looks. But you know what was better than this? 2 of this. Oh yeah. When I said I want this farm to be game-breakingly, game-cripplingly bad, I meant it. I want this thing to run for about 10 minutes and then make more gold than I'm ever going to need. Though the question stands, is it excessive to do any more than this? We're going to be making like 2 stacks of cobblestone every 5 seconds. No, I think I should stay with this. Okay, I should get this hooked up first to power, see how bad this is alone before I add any more of them. Although the question stands, how do I hook power up to this? I don't know how I'm going to deal with the gantries because they need to be going opposite ways to each other. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna stick a gearbox in them and then see if that works. In fact, I should be able to test this with a hand crank, right? Yeah, they go opposite directions. That's not good. I haven't actually made any of these, but there is brass gearboxes in Create Connected which let you do custom rotation for every single side. Maybe that's our answer. So yeah, we'll put that one up and that one down, and then we'll just see how that goes when we do this. Ah, yes, this is the answer. Excellent. You know, it's a really good job that I bulk crafted like a stack and a half of precision mechanisms, because I didn't think I was going to be making these today. For once, my foresight and planning has actually paid off. And yeah, just hooking these up over the top with a rotation speed controller, we've got all of these in place. And oh, that's a good noise. And I'm going to make this look nice in a minute, but if we just hook this up to some power, we've set this to, I'm going to put it down to 32 just for now. If I flip this, we should start seeing all of this break and then pop back. Yeah, good. Ooh, that's made cobblestone. Why is that made cobblestone? That's That's not right. Oh, this one's done it too. How strange. Okay, so cobblestone has been removed from the system. We'll just give that another quick try just to test. And we should see, yes, all this is working. Now, if I turn on both sides, how badly is my frame rate going to suffer? Ooh, quite poorly. Oh, we're dipping under the 60 mark. That's a bit spooky. Okay, let's turn this off for now, and we'll get the rest of the processes up and running, which honestly shouldn't be too difficult. And holy moly, this is the amount of cobblestone we got for running the farm for about 20 seconds. I think we're going to be all right, you know, for gold. So the plan for the rest of it is actually going to be not too bad. We just use some vault trickery and some item rolling to take all of the items out of these. They're going to flow down and round into the big vault, and then we're going to dance the other items around this vault until they become the gold, at which point we will ship it back to that container over there. So obviously once we have the cobblestone, we need to crush it into gravel, which is going to come out of this side, come back around and go back in, and then it's going to come straight back out this side and get turned into sand. And in order to make the spread of items as even as possible, we're going to set each of these up to 32 items per wheel. And because we have a main power line just running over the top here, this is going to be super easy just to bring the power over and connect up. And after just throwing on some fans, some filters and some compactors, I think we are actually ready for a test. So what's going to happen is obviously we're going to crush into the sand. That's going to come back into here. It's then going to drop from here in front of this fan here, which is going to haunt into soul sand, which is then going to drop here to be washed. Once that is washed, the raw gold itself is going to pop out here and get compacted into raw gold, or the nuggets will come out and be compacted into the raw gold rather. The raw gold will then drop out and turn into ingots, which will then drop out of here and be compacted into blocks. There isn't really any need for me to make it this complicated. I could technically just set this to make blocks and this to smelt blocks, but I wanted it to be symmetrical, so cry about it. And I do kind of find it hilarious that our entire processing line here is about half the size as the cobblestone generator. It's just really entertaining to me, that fact. So just while I set this up, I'm going to disconnect it from the main power line because I want to hook this up to a redstone link first of all. So I'll throw that there, those there, double lever for now, make these receivers, and then we should be ready to power this up. So let's go. Oh god, immediately the frames are struggling, but I want to see if the cobblestone, oh yeah, is making its way through, which it is, and it looks like it's going to be keeping up just fine. And by the looks of it, we're only using one set of the crushing wheels here, so maybe we could get away with adding even more cobble generators to this, which would be hilarious if we could. And it appears I've made a slight mistake in my filtering because I set them both to be sand and soul sand, which means the soul sand is not getting picked up here at the end. Whoops. Okay, so with that, yes, that looks like it's now going to be working, and by the looks of it, yep, we are producing gold nuggets, which is great. Although not really at the rate I was actually kind of hoping for. I did not turn on the cobblestone generators. That would help. I was wondering, my game was running suspiciously well, but no, there's the flame lag. So yeah, I'm just going to let this run for maybe 5-10 minutes and see what kind of rates we're looking at, because there is a very good chance that this cobblestone generator may be about to double in size. Because in my mind, technically, if we're only using one of 4 of our crushing wheels, then I can make 4 times the amount of cobblestone. My game may explode if I do that, but it sure would be funny. And I've just had a realization. I never sped up how quickly the cobblestone was going to be breaking. So that is going to kick things off pretty nicely if I turn that off. Oh yeah, that's significantly faster. You know what? Screw it. We've got 600,000 stress units to play with. Why not? We'll just max it out. See what happens. Oh god, the frame rate. Oh, okay, cobblestone is exploding everywhere when I do that. That is 256 is too fast. That's problematic. Oh god, these barrels are full. So after working out all the little kinks and small bits that I missed while building this, I actually think it would be immensely irresponsible to add more cobblestone generators to this. I basically just did not hook up the funnels to these. These were all facing inwards for some reason, so backlog right now is pretty bad. So I'm gonna let it clear itself out first, and then hopefully when it's cleared out, we'll turn it on again and see if it keeps up or not. Okay, and I've done a bit of testing here, and I've worked out that we're getting a gold ingot about every 15 seconds, so that's 4 per minute, and about 240 ingots per hour. I forgot I was in scaffolding, and have now sunk to the bottom. Oh no. And for a pretty compact farm, I would say that is definitely pretty good. I don't know if it quite brings me to my 10 FPS god-awful aim that I was going for, but I am still pretty happy with it. And of course, it barely makes a dent in our stress units with using only 40,000. You know, I've only got another 2.4 million. I think I might need some more soon. But that is going to be all for today, so thank you all very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Goodbye.